What's up? Just a gentle reminder. I'm Darts, if you don't know me. But now you do. So, the full moon is on Saturday, so if some of you guys are going crazy, message me if you don't know how to meditate, because your shit is disrupting my universe. But that's not what I want to talk about today. So yesterday I talked about the first, second, and third dimension. Today I'm going to talk about the fourth, fifth, and sixth. But why the hell am I talking about this? We are multi-dimensional beings. So we have reincarnated and lived multiple lives. We are able to live parallel to this universe. This may or may not resonate with you, and if it doesn't, it's not for you. So just do a recap. First dimension is at your heart. After that first dimension splits, you got the second dimension. At this point, the fourth dimension also splits as well. Think of your life in these dimensions as cells. That's the easiest way to remember. So we're going to stick with the second dimension here. Remember, the second is the positive, negative. Positive and negative not being bad and good, just being dualistic, opposites. Then you have the third dimension, which this is a pyramid, which we live in. We live in a 3D avatar, hence this body you see before you. Now, if you think of this as a pyramid, the base of the pyramid is the fourth dimension, and that's where most of us are actually living, is the fourth dimension. Most people think they're living in the third dimension. You might be. But the fourth dimension, if you think of it as a square, rectangle, each side has parts of kind of our life. So one side is when we're born. The second side is when we reproduce. You have kids, you kind of start having your family life. The third side is when you start integrating all your lessons for your life. So you're like, oh, this happened to me, I learned this, then you became something, and blah, blah, blah. Story of your life, right? Then the last side of the square is transcendence. So when you transcend, usually when you die, then you should go up to heaven or whatever you guys might believe, or reincarnate back to this earth, or whatever. Something happens, right? Now, the reason why I'm making this video is this fourth dimension is where most souls have got stuck. So believe it or not, we've lived thousands, hundreds, multiple different years, depending on who you are. And most of us have been stuck. We're stuck on Earth because we're not learning our lessons. We're just like literally just looping back and just constantly living the same life and not learning. So the reason why this video is coming out is to kind of jog something in your brain of you're bigger than what you actually know. Now, in this fourth dimension, we're kind of just all stuck at the bottom of this pyramid. Now, there's something called the fifth dimension, which actually sits above the third dimension. So you have your fifth dimension, then you have your third dimension, and then the sixth dimension actually sits below. Now, this fifth dimension, where you'll hear some spiritual people talk about the fifth dimension, and it's all about unconditional love, and you're like, what the hell? How do I get there? How do I get to the fifth dimension? So, I have some notes here. The fifth dimension helps you understand the process you went through in the third and fourth dimension. And the fifth dimension is not a place you go to. You have to you naturally transition to the fifth dimension. Now, there's some things that you need to do as a soul, as a person, to even be able to comprehend the fifth dimension. Some of you might be like, what the hell is this girl talking about? This video is not for you. But if you're still interested, the fifth dimension is all about love, unconditional love. So if you're saying that you'll watch this video you're not ready yet. It's unconditional love, love without condition, and without judgment. So you're not going to be like, look at her funny hair. Still judging. You're not ready yet. So, fifth dimension, unconditional love, no judgment. Also, the wisdom. So, usually people think of wisdom as knowledge, but it's also, as you kind of vibrate higher, you just know things. It's a knowing, it's a feeling. So that wisdom of knowing is also a part of that fifth dimension. And also just, there's a will of spreading this knowledge once you get to the fifth dimension and sharing stuff and just wanting people to be better. And I'm not doing this for anything. I'm just doing it because I like to. So there's something inside of me that wants to do it. So those are qualities of the fifth dimension. And anybody can get there. You just have to reprogram this thing to get you there. And then the sixth dimension is where kind of like the creators live, a lot of the archangels. You also have the dark and the light. So we are trained that the dark and light are bad. Those are bad. The devil is bad. Angels are good. Nighttime is scary. Daytime is fun. All that stuff. You gotta erase that out of your memory as well. That's just a part of life. Some people might not like this, but the demons and angels work together. And you need to realize that we are all one soul. We're actually one soul, pretending to be me, pretending to be you. And that realization is going to literally shake you up. You might get angry, whatever, but work through it. But these different dimensions are different levels, and you almost have to treat it like a Nintendo game. Which level are you on? Which level are you on? I think it's really cool. I'm just so excited about it. I have no idea why, but it really intrigues me. And I just think I've always wanted more out of life, and just to know these things, even if you're like, that's not true, blah, 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 I don't care. I love it. It's amazing to know that there's so much more out there that is physically past this thing that you are looking at. And that gives anybody hope. It should give you hope, especially with all this stuff that's going on in the world. What's the worst that could happen? You become a better person. You meet new people. So, now you know the first to sixth dimension. I will make a video on the other ones as well, but let me know if you're interested in this, what you think, all that jazz. And I got a new light. So, anyways, have a good night, you guys.